Dear viewers, welcome to the Roundup covering unknown indie games, known ARPGs and the internet for the PC. Thanks for joining, let's dive in. This is news from the last month or so because I was playing Path of Exile and I didn't really make any videos. Starting with reveals and announcements. One of the best games ever made, according to many, is coming to the PC. We're talking God of War here, and it's no real surprise as Sony is porting more and more games to PC, which is a good thing. I can't wait to play this in high resolution with ray tracing, you would hope, and then cry to see my PC suffer, unless they got DLSS as well. Maybe it runs, who knows. On January 14th, 2022, we can all enjoy this masterpiece. One more request, Sony, please give us Final Fantasy VII Remake, please. Red Solstice 2 Survivor is a top-down strategy game, but it is in real time. I found it rather refreshing and quite interesting to play. Here is some footage. The game released June 17th of this year and they have launched a Season Pass on November 4th. This Season Pass provides access to the upcoming DLCs as soon as they get released. Expect 4 upcoming paid DLCs that provide new campaign missions, new gear, new skins, new skill trees, weapon modding and drivable vehicles. Remember Sanctum Breach, that one dev ARPG that ultimately got pulled from Steam? It's temporarily dead, but solo dev Sam is working on its revival. Occasionally he posts in the Discord and apparently it's going pretty well. He's been hard at work bug fixing and you can play throughout the acts on multiple difficulty levels. It's pretty much following the Diablo system with normal, nightmare and hell difficulty if I remember correctly, and it's very much a hardcore ARPG that will be rather unforgiving. There is still a decent to-do list, but Sam hints it might all be done before Christmas this year. No release date yet, but there's progress, which is great to see. Now, I'm hoping that the game is a bit more polished and playable than the previous versions, because while it was a commendable attempt from a solo dev, ultimately the game felt clunky and not very responsive, nor did it look good, which to me at least are somewhat important in ARPGs. I really hope there's some improvements on those aspects as well. Once there's more news, you'll hear from me. Capcom game Pragmata got delayed to 2023. I never heard about this, but stumbled upon this random and very cute trailer, and it had me intrigued. I then watched this trailer, which is a full cinematic experience of a near-future dystopian world that takes place on the moon. By looking at this initially, you wouldn't say it's the moon honestly, but apparently these two people are in a sort of Truman Show until a satellite crashes the illusions. I have absolutely no idea what's going on over here, but I am even more intrigued now. It's not even clear to me what sort of game this is, but it looks incredible. Thyworm, an upcoming Souls-like ARPG from Taiwan-based studio Over Border, was supposed to release the 7th of December, but now has been delayed to 2022. No specific date is known just yet. The game looks interesting enough though. Third-person hack-and-slash action, you can steal diseases from bosses and use it against them, and you are discovering more special abilities as you go, which you see as these green weapons in the trailer. Not much else is known about this title currently, but hopefully as the launch date approaches, more gameplay will become available as well. You guys remember the epic exclusive Spacepunks? Marketed as a Borderlands top-down hack-and-slash twin-stick shooter ARPG, it seemed to have potential, but the game was hollow and lacked any resemblance to Borderlands, barring the art style. Combat was fun, sort of, but the whole game was just extremely shallow and buggy. A lack of content and decent matchmaking hurt the game even further. The devs released a mix of FAQ and updates, and you know you're in trouble if you have to answer the question if development is still ongoing. Ouch. The rest of the message isn't much more hopeful, honestly. There's still no roadmap, no endgame and probably no players. Bramble the Mountain King is a cute little indie game developed by Swedish indie dev Dimfrost Studio. It is their second game and they're aiming for creating games with immersive storytelling and atmospheric environments. I would say they definitely succeeded when looking at this gameplay trailer. It's a great mix of dark and gritty, but also colorful and vibrant at the same time. The devs market it as a horror game, and there are certainly elements of that in the trailer, but not all hope is lost, I feel. Another interesting aspect is that if this is purely gameplay, there's hardly or no UI visible, which may be for trailer purposes, but it may also just be the actual gameplay, which would make this very immersive. Having no UI in indie games is for me usually a good thing. It looks promising, that's for sure. The release date is set in 2022. Broken Ranks, a free-to-play MMORPG that turned a browser-based game into an actual game, will release January 2022. I played this, it's quite good. Combat is turn-based and very tactical, the world is atmospheric, and the whole thing reminds me of classics like Baldur's Gate, but more gritty. There's a niche fanbase for this, but it's something worth checking out, I would say. Anvil, a top-down sci-fi roguelike action shooter where you control characters called Vault Breakers to explore various galaxies, is going to be released in early access on December 2nd. I played the demo for a bit, and while the game has potential with these Vault Breakers primarily and boss fights in which some skill and tactics are required, it ultimately didn't really strike me as a game I wanted to play a lot of. It reminded me a bit of the early days of Kill Squad, which had clearly potential, but there was also a lot of work left to do. It is developed by Action Square, an indie Korean developer that has experience with mobile games but not so much with PC games. It begs the question how this game will be monetized as well. So far, everything seems to be unlockable by playing the game, although it is hard to tell how grindy this is going to be. Still, I'm somewhat interested to see what happens around launch. I'll keep you posted. Lies of P, the Pinocchio-inspired Souls-like game that just oozes with ambience, released a new trailer. The Belle Epoque setting, reminiscent of France in the late 19th century, is just so well made, which we already saw from previous trailers. The new one, however, shows the gameplay, which looks very familiar for fans of the genre. I do like the animations and the movement of the protagonist, who is on a quest to meet his maker and become human. You probably have to kill a lot for that. There's no release date yet, but this game looks extremely promising. Salt 2 Shores of Gold released a small dev update where they're talking about this game, which is reason enough to bring it once again to your attention. The developers of Salt are, in my opinion, really talented. I played their previous game, Wild Wests and Wizards, and it was a lot of fun. An inspired game, Salt 2 should be great as well, I have no doubt. They explain that you gain skill points by using a skill, like in Skyrim. It's my favorite mechanic for gaining XP, honestly. It's very sensible as well. There's going to be a lot of different loot with several roles and skills attached to them, and crafting gives you some control on the roles as well. They're estimating that alpha and beta tests commence in January and February of next year, meaning that maybe around April or so you can play this game in early access. Count me in. Then the Patch Plaza with an overview of patch news. Last Epoch, the most anticipated ARPG of next year, drops the release date for their next patch, 0.8.4. It will release on December 10th, which is a great time. The PoE action will have winded down a bit, meaning we can start farming legendaries in Last Epoch instead. The patch brings a lot as we're used to by now, but the main focus area is the Druid, which gets a new skill, Upheaval, a new form, the Swarm Blade, skill reworks, model reworks, and probably much more. Something really cool we're getting is the first dungeon, called Temporal Sanctum, which is a randomized instance. That's about time. We should be getting Eternity caches, although not too much info is revealed about that just yet. Furthermore, expect a revamped crafting system, a new rogue skill, a new mage and acolyte character models, an overhauled character select screen, new unique items, and much more. Outriders released a new patch, New Horizons. It's a free update which removes expedition timers, adds 4 new expeditions, adds a transmog system, reworks Diago's store, reworks certain legendary gear set, and balanced mods, class trees, and skills. Looking at recent Steam ratings, the new update hasn't really brought the effect the devs were hoping for. The recent ratings are a little better than the overall rating, 63% versus 62%, with reviews still mentioning a lot of bugs as one of the main issues. Hopefully some hotfixes can take care of those, but it might be a more fundamental issue. You can play the update on Game Pass, which is probably your best bet anyway. The devs also did a sneaky announcement of their upcoming expansion called World Slayer. This should arrive in 2022. Banners of Ruin, one of my favorite collectible card games currently on Steam, released a new update. Part of this update are 3 new mini-bosses, the Hunters, they're called Caster, Scourge and Fenra. They appear after you kill the Warden. Furthermore, there are 8 new scenarios, 8 new weapon cards, 15 new skills and talents, epic challenges, which are specific goals you must achieve over the course of a run paired with different oaths that unlock a new card when completed. Good opportunity to dive back into it, and I might give it a go sometime soon. Dreamscaper released patch 1.1. This amazing indie ARPG made by 3 dev veterans took the world by storm. Everybody loves this, and there's new stuff in this patch. 19 new items, merchant re-rolling, meta currency to sand converter, new room layouts, and more. If you haven't picked up this game yet, do it. It is beautiful, it runs well, it's fun, it's a piece of art honestly. I strongly recommend it. Solar Purge released patch 0.4.0, bringing us a new planet in the campaign, 2 new weapons manufacturers, 3 new enemies, a new NPC, saving throughout the campaign, that's kind of useful, holo chamber updates and a wide range of bug fixes. This is a game to put on your radar because it's fun to play and it has potential, but it is mostly lacking content to warrant its current asking price of €21, which is really a lot of money for an early access game with hardly anything you can do. Patch 1.1 released for Edge of Eternity, which is a JRPG inspired game that reminded me of all the cool classics such as Final Fantasy 8 and 9. Great game, I did a review as well on this one. This update brings 9 new side quests to complete, bringing the average game time to around 50 hours. There are new in-dialogues, 4 new monsters, new spells and Neckaroo boosters across the worlds. The Neckaroo is your mount and by hitting certain plants in the world you get a temporary speed boost. Cool idea. Time to release some games, starting with what recently released. Synthetic 2 launched into early access. Synthetic 2 is a bold continuation of Synthetic Legion Rising. Fight a world overrun by the relentless Machine Legion. Experience the next level in gunplay and upgrade yourself beyond measure to rival their gods. Can you defeat the Heart of Armageddon? I don't know, but it looks okay to me. Bright Memory Infinite is an all-new lightning-fast fusion of the FPS and action genres created by FYQD Studio, which is just one guy by the way. Combine a wide variety of skills and abilities to unleash dazzling combo attacks. Amazing game. I did a review, check it out. User rating is 92%. Skyrim celebrated their 10th anniversary in style with another cash grab. They're charging €20 for this DLC, which is the same game, but now you can fish. Of course, all the bugs are still in the game too, and Creation Club content, but those are paid DLC. So it's paid DLC within a paid DLC. Great, thanks Todd. Tavern Master released. This looks like a cute tycoon game. Tavern Master is all about managing your medieval tavern. You start with a very small room, couple of benches and tables and rebuild your way up to a huge successful tavern with a kitchen, room for guests, group of loyal staff and much more. Rated 90% on Steam. Then upcoming releases, it's really quiet, I really just got one game for you. It's called Lens Island, an open world crafting survival game. It hits early access on the 26th of November. Build, fight, farm and explore. Experience your own path. Whether it's building the home of your dreams, tending to your crops and watching the sun go down, or explore the mysteries of the island and the darkness underneath, but you may want to take a sword with you. Thanks devs for the tip. Time for some personal updates. What have I been up to? Well, Path of Exile. Here's my build in action, zooming through the maps. I made another Toxic Raider because why not? I grinded my Headhunter, found an Inspired Learning and slapped it on. I'm loving the Scourge mechanic, it's incredibly fun. Mapping is smooth, killing bosses is decent. I can't wait to play more, but this is basically what I've been doing. Also, my apartment's coming along quite nicely. The move to Amsterdam was definitely a good one. In a few weeks I'm hopefully mostly set up and then I'll make a small video for you all. And that's it. If you have any questions or remarks, put them in the comments down below. I hope you enjoyed the video. And if you did, you want more like this, consider liking the video or even subscribing. Thanks for watching and for making it to the end. Love you all. See you soon. Bye bye.